Yeah, students, good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we discussed about the oogenesis process, right? So, still many of them are having doubts in that process. So, let me explain the process again. Fine. I'll give you a fast recap in this oogenesis process, that is mainly in the growth phase. Other two phases, I think you are clear. Multiplication phase, you are clear in the oogenesis, right? I will explain you only about the growth phase and then we can move on to the next process. Fine. So in multiplication phase, actually what happened, the entire multiplication phase will be completed before the birth itself. So those who are having doubts in the oogenesis process, please listen to me properly now. The multiplication phase, it will start from the beginning and to the end. The total step, no, the total process is completed before the birth, that is in the fetal life itself. Okay. So the first, the primordial germ cells, they will divide by mitotic division and they will form the large number of oogonia. And these oogonia will be surrounded by follicular cells which are derived from the germinal epithelium of the ovary. And the follicular cells will keep on multiplying inside the ovary and the size of the ovarian follicle increases. Ovarian follicle means everything. So inside oocyte, surrounding follicular cells together, we will call it as ovarian follicle. Okay. So the entire size of the ovarian follicle will increase. These follicles, no, it will get matured. Slowly they will get matured. So first it will be in the stage of primary. So actually now we are in the multiplication phase. So it will be in the stage of primary follicles. Okay. Right. Now in the second phase, growth phase. So this phase also begins during the fetal life, but it will not end during the fetal life. It will continue after the birth, throughout the childhood, and it will end just before the onset of puberty, right? And the oogonia here will increase in its size, and now they are called as primary oocytes. Oogonia are now called as primary oocytes, and the number of primary oocyte during the time of birth will be constant. It will never increase or it will not be added up after the birth. And the number of follicular cells at the time of birth will be 3 to 4 lakhs. And this follicular cells will start degenerating after the birth. So after birth, the number of follicular cells will slowly degenerate. It will become 2 lakhs, 1 lakh, and finally it will reaches the count of about 60,000 to 80,000. And during this period, the follicular cells which are degenerating, no, and that is called as follicular atresia process. The degeneration of follicular cells is called as follicular atresia. And such ovarian follicles which are disposed of, no, it will be done by the phagocytosis process. And this phagocytosis means some phagocytic cells will be present inside the ovary, and those phagocytic cells are responsible for disposing of the degenerated follicular cells. Okay. And some group of cells, they will be present around the follicles in the ovarian stroma region, and these cells become active and they are responsible for secreting a small amount of androgen, and they are called as interstitial cells. Okay. So up to this clear? And the follicular cells, no, like because of this follicular atresia taking place, there will be a cavity formed, and that cavity is called as follicular antrum, and this is filled with the fluid which we call it as liquor folliculi. Okay. And the two follicular layers, now it will be connected by means of a small pedicel or stalk, and the outer follicular layer is called as the stratum granulosum, and the inner follicular layer is called as the cumulus. Okay. Now this outer and inner follicular layer will be separated by means of this follicular antrum or follicular cavity, right? Fine. Now it is this outer follicular layer. Outer follicular layer is called as the stratum granulosa, right? So this outer follicular layer, stratum granulosa, they secrete estrogen hormone during the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle, right? Now this is regarding to the follicular cells development, right? And now coming to this uh, outer membrane of your primary oocyte. Outer membrane is the plasma membrane. Okay. Again I will draw the diagram, students. Again I will draw and I will tell you. So this is your primary oocyte. Inside that nucleus will be there and cytoplasmic region. Okay. Now follicular cells will be there, and these follicular cells, no, it will start degenerating after the birth. After birth, the follicular cells will start degenerating and the process is called as follicular atresia. And because of degeneration of follicular cells, a small gap will be formed. A small gap will be formed in between the follicular cells, and that gap is called as follicular cavity or follicular antrum. Okay, so this gap will be filled with a fluid. So what is that fluid? It is called as liquor folliculi. So this is the antrum. This is the antrum or cavity which is formed because of the disintegration of follicular cells, and this cavity will be filled with a liquid called as liquor folliculi, right? Now this is the outer follicular layer and this is the inner follicular layer. Inner follicular layer is called as cumulus and outer follicular layer is called as stratum granulosum. Right. Now this inner follicular layer and outer follicular layer is responsible for secreting the estrogen hormone. So this estrogen hormone will be secreted during the adolescent period for the first time, and after that in every menstrual cycle it will be secreted during the follicular phase. Today we are going to discuss about the menstrual cycle. And inner follicular layer, it will surrounds the primary oocyte, and in between the inner follicular layer and the plasma membrane, another membrane will be formed, and that membrane is called as the vitelline membrane. Okay, so there will be a membrane formation called as vitelline membrane, and this vitelline membrane will be formed in between the plasma membrane and the inner follicular layer called as cumulus. And this vitelline membrane, no, it is a transparent non-cellular membrane which is made up of glycoprotein. Okay, right. Now in between the plasma membrane and the vitelline membrane, there will be a small space, and this space is called as perivitelline space. I'm marking in white color, right? This is called as perivitelline space. So this perivitelline space will be present between the plasma membrane and the vitelline membrane. Got it? So these are the things that will take place in the follicular cells and outer to this primary oocyte. Now coming to this inner part of the primary oocyte, what are the changes? The first thing is the nucleus. The nucleus size will become bigger and it is called as germinal vesicle. And also the cytoplasmic content will also increases, and the preparation for meiosis will begin, and the chromosomes, no, they will uncoil and the transverse loops will occur, leading to the formation of Lambrecht chromosome. RNA synthesis will also become higher, and as a result there will be vitellogenesis process, which we call it as synthesis of yolk. Yolk will be synthesized somewhere in the liver, but through the blood the yolk will come to the primary oocyte. It will come to the primary oocyte, not directly through the follicular cells. It will come and it will finally come and settle down. See, whichever yolk you take, the organism's egg, no, even the egg what we are eating, when you open the egg, the yellow color you are seeing in the center, right? That is called as the yolk. In human egg also yolk will be there. In all organisms, egg yolk will be present. Okay, that yolk may be present in a small concentration or in a higher concentration, but in human egg the yolk will be present in a very small amount. Okay, so that I will explain you later in the fertilization process. So this yolk, synthesis of yolk is called as vitellogenesis, which is synthesized in the liver, then through blood and follicular cells, finally it will reaches the primary oocyte. Okay, so this is regarding your growth phase of your oogenesis. Now finally coming to the maturation phase. In maturation phase, what will happen? First, the nucleus, no, which is very big, that is called as germinal vesicle. It will loses all its content, that is nucleus up, and RNA will get disintegrate. So the nucleus will become smaller and compact. When it becomes smaller and compact, from the center it will move towards the corner. Corner in the sense you can call it as periphery. After moving to the corner, it will start undergoing the meiotic cell division, that is the reduction division. The first division is meiosis 1. So when the first division is occurring, the primary oocyte will divide into one bigger cell and one smaller cell. These two are unequal cells. Unequal cells in the sense both of them will not be in the similar size. So the bigger cell is called as the secondary oocyte and the smaller one is called as the polar body. The polar body being non-functional, it will be pushed to the perivitelline space. Okay, only the bigger cell will be remaining inside. So this bigger cell, secondary oocyte, it will be there inside itself. It will not come out immediately till the follicular cell surrounding. You can see the follicular cell surrounding, no? The follicular cells first, before it was primary follicle. Now slowly it will mature into secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, and finally into Graafian follicle. When it turns into Graafian follicle, the Graafian follicle will rupture and the entire content will come out. That is, the secondary oocyte will come out. See, and some students are having doubt when the follicular cells rupture, whether this follicular cell rupture or outer follicular cell rupture. So the outermost one, no, stratum granulosum, these follicles are the one which will rupture during what? Ovulation. During ovulation process, once when the follicles turn into mature Graafian follicle, the outer follicular layer will rupture. So it will not rupture at all sides, one particular side. When it ruptures, this entire region, that is inside secondary oocyte will be there. Then you have vitelline membrane, then surrounding inner follicular cells. In this inner follicular cell, cumulus is later called as corona radiata. Yesterday I told you, no, it is called as corona radiata. This corona radiata, zona pellucida layer, and then because vitelline membrane will be called as zona pellucida. Then plasma membrane and the secondary oocyte. This entire part will come out during ovulation from the ovary to the fallopian tube. So many of you are thinking only the secondary oocyte will come out. Not only the secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte should be protected till the sperm get fused with that. So the entire part. So when this entire part is coming out, no, what are the things that will be present during ovulation? I will tell you. Inside, now it is called as not primary oocyte, it is called as secondary oocyte. So the secondary oocyte will also have a nucleus. Okay. And surrounding the secondary oocyte, what it will be there? Zona pellucida layer will be there, no? Zona pellucida, that is the vitelline membrane. Then surrounding this zona pellucida, you will have the follicular cells. You will have the follicular cells. This is the inner follicular layer, which we call it as corona radiata. Okay, this entire thing will be released from the ovary. So this is your entire part. This is called as the corona radiata. And this is called as the zona pellucida. And this one inner is called as the plasma membrane. And the total thing is called as the secondary oocyte. Okay, so this will be the complete part, and I will show you the mature Graafian follicle. So this will completely come out. When it is under mature Graafian follicle, no, you can draw this diagram. Draw the structure of mature Graafian follicle. When Graafian follicle get matured, how it will be, right? I will draw you the entire diagram. You please draw this diagram. These two you need not to draw, because these two already we discussed yesterday. This is you want to know what is the structure of the mature Graafian follicle. Okay, you please draw this structure. Complete mature Graafian follicle before rupturing. Before rupturing, this structure, no, this proper structure I will draw here. So this is your in Graafian follicle. When it is present inside the Graafian follicle, this is primary oocyte, not secondary oocyte. This is before rupturing, before ovulation, that is before your what is that? Before the maturation, that is meiosis 1 has completed, and your Graafian follicle will be looking like this. And surrounding this, there will be what? Vitelline membrane. This is called as the zona pellucida layer. Okay, right. Now surrounding this, you will have follicular cells. This is what I drew yesterday, but all the parts I didn't mark. No, that's why again I am drawing. And in one side, it will be connected with the outer follicular layer. Okay, so in any one side, this alone we discussed. Surrounding this, we didn't see what are the parts that will be present. Okay, so this will be the outer follicular layer. So this is the structure of the entire Graafian follicle, students. Now I will mark the parts. You know, the one which is present deep inside is the primary oocyte, because it is Graafian follicle. Okay. So Graafian follicle means this will be in the like primary oocyte. Later it will mature into secondary oocyte. That is after undergoing meiosis 1. Okay. Primary oocyte, or you can say secondary oocyte. No, that is not a problem. That is before maturing or after maturing. That is not a problem. And now this is the inner follicular layer, which we call it as cumulus. And this is the outer follicular layer, which we call it as stratum granulosum. And this is the antrum. The cavity is the follicular antrum, which is filled with fluid. Okay, that fluid you can represent. So that is the liquor folliculi. Okay, now outer to the surface I have drawn something, right? This blue color lining you note down, that is called as theca interna. Yesterday I told you, you remember which will turn into theca interna? The stratum granulosum, I told you, no, later it will change into theca interna. So that is this yellow color, that is follicular cells, it will form as a covering, and that is called as theca interna. And this outermost covering is called as theca externa. That is again some protective covering. Okay, that's all. If they are asking you to draw the structure of a mature Graafian follicle, you have to draw the structure and you have to mark all these parts. All these parts are very, very important. Okay, please draw this diagram. So this is the complete structure of your, what is that? Graafian follicle. Okay, Graafian follicle means which is having the follicular cells matured surrounding your oocyte. Once if you have finished drawing, please let me know, students. Finish drawing. Is it done? See, Graafian follicle, that's what I told Ma. Initially, it will be primary oocyte. Okay. Then later, after once when they enter into maturation phase, then it will change into secondary oocyte. No, that's why I didn't tell exactly it is primary oocyte or secondary oocyte. Anything can be present. But anyways, like once when the Graafian follicle rupture, the entire thing would present inside will come out through this ovulation process. Yes. So I just stopped in this ovulation. I told you when the Graafian follicle mature, the secondary oocyte will be ruptured from the ovary and it will come to the fallopian tube. Okay, right. Now, this secondary oocyte which comes out to the fallopian tube, now it will be waiting there in the ampulla region for the entry of the sperm. Only if sperm entry is there, then when the sperm contacts with the secondary oocyte, immediately the meiosis 2 will start happening. So the second part of the meiosis, that is equational cell division, will take place only after the contact of the sperm. Up to that, there will be no meiosis 2. After the contact of the sperm, there will be meiosis 2 taking place, and the nucleus of the secondary oocyte, it divides again to form one more polar body, which is very small, and the big cell that is called as the ooted. This ooted is the mature egg or ova. Okay, the first polar body which has been released to the perivitelline space, no, it may also divide through meiosis 2 and it can produce 2 more polar bodies. So the maximum number of polar bodies that will be present with the ovum is said to be 3. Okay, so 3 polar bodies will be there and 1 ooted will be there and 2 coverings will be there. One is zona pellucida covering, another one is corona radiata covering. Okay, right. And yesterday I gave you the complete flowchart of spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Spermatogenesis and oogenesis, I gave you know how from primordial germ cells, finally the spermatid and ooted will be formed. Now, you please write down the differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. This will be helpful for you. You divide into 2 columns and one side you write spermatogenesis. This will be like overall conclusion for you. And at the other side, oogenesis. Spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So because we have studied the complete process of spermatogenesis and also complete function of oogenesis. Now, polar bodies do not have any function. Polar bodies do not have any function. Okay. Sterile and they are non-functional. That's why they are like pushed to the perivitelline space. Only one ooted will be functional. Okay. Right. Now, please write down the differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. The first difference in spermatogenesis, from single primary spermatocyte, 4 spermatids, 4 functional gametes are formed. From single primary spermatocyte, totally 4 functional gametes are formed. Because first by meiosis 1, 2, then by meiosis 2, 4, and all the 4 will be functional in spermatogenesis. But in oogenesis, it is not the condition, because from single primary oocyte, only one functional gamete is formed, because only one ooted, remaining 3 are polar bodies. On 3 polar bodies are not functional. Okay, so only one functional gamete is formed. Okay, got it? So the first difference in spermatogenesis, from one primary spermatocyte, 4 functional gametes are formed. Here only one functional gamete will be formed. These 4 functional gametes, all the 4 will be functional. First they will be spermatid, later they develop into sperm. Here the one functional gamete is called as the ooted. Okay, so it is called as the egg or ova or ooted. This is the first difference between them. Now the second difference. Growth phase is of shorter duration. Growth phase is shorter in spermatogenesis and growth phase is longer in oogenesis. It is of longer duration. Okay, shorter duration, longer duration. This is the second difference. Now the third difference, reserve food material is absent in spermatogenesis. Reserve food material is absent. Here reserve food material is present. Can you tell which is the reserve food material? Generally the reserve food material is yolk. Yolk acts as the reserve food material and reserve food material is present and that is yolk. Okay. Then the fourth difference, In spermatogenesis process, during cell division, Pac18 is of longer duration. Pac18 is the longest one, okay? But in oogenesis, diplotin is the longest one. Diplotin stage is the longest one, okay? Diplotin is of longest duration. You know what happens in Pac18, what happens in diplotin. Pac18 is the stage where the recombination or crossing over will take place. See, Sertoli cells provide nutrition. They are nursing cells, okay? I am telling you reserve food material. Reserving food material is different from providing nutrition. Providing nutrition, it will provide nutrition then and there. Reserve food material means storage. Storage of food material will not be there, okay? Don't confuse with one student is asking in spermatogenesis, this Sertoli cells are there to provide nutrition. Why then we are saying like reserve food material is absent? It will provide nutrition, but it is not a storage of food material. Okay, it will supply the nutrition then and there for the development of sperms. Finally, after the sperm cell formation, is there any reserve food material inside the sperm cell? No, mitochondria will provide energy. But in oogenesis, no, after the formation of egg or ova, yolk will be there. This yolk is said to be the storage of food material. Okay, you copy this. Let me continue. 3 more points are there for the differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Diagram of ovum I will show you later. Okay, now you need not to have this diagram of ovum. You first concentrate this. Is it done, mom? Have you all written the 4 points? Fine, let us continue. So now the point what I told you is Pac18 stage and diplotin stage. Now here in spermatogenesis, metamorphosis occurs. Metamorphosis of what to what? Metamorphosis of spermatid to a motile sperm cell. But here spermatid to sperm occurs. Here no metamorphosis because your egg is always non-motile. So there is no need of occurring this metamorphosis process. Then centriole of sperm is functional. In sperm cell, the centriole we discussed, you remember? Proximal centriole and distal centriole. Proximal centriole initiate the first cleavage of zygote. Distal centriole which will elongate as a axial filament that will help in the movement. Okay. Centriole of the sperm, both the centrioles of the sperm are functional. And here in egg or ova, the centriole is non-functional. Centriole will not do any function in the egg or ovum. Okay. And the male gamete sperm cells, no, it carries 2 different types of chromosomes. So male gametes consist of 2 types. Male gametes are of 2 types. So what are they? One is the X, another one is the Y. In female gametes, all are similar. All gametes in female are similar. Because all of them will carry only the X chromosome. Only X chromosome here. Here you have X chromosome and also Y chromosome. Okay. That is what in male we call it as heterogametic. Because of 2 different type of chromosomes, we call them as heterogametic. In female, it is called as homogametic because both all gametes will always carry the X chromosome and not the Y chromosome. And finally, male gamete is motile and smaller and motile. Female gamete is larger and non-motile. So suppose because 2 years back in your board exam, they asked you one question in 5 mark, that is tabulate the differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. This tabulation is not there in your NCERT book. Okay. Separately, spermatogenesis and oogenesis would have been discussed. But there will be no proper tabulation of spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So please write down all these points in your notebook If they are asking this question, you can write these points. This is more than enough, which covers everything. If you are feeling is there any additional point is there, you can also write. No problem. Okay. Anyways, these points are very, very important points. You have to mention all these points. Anybody want me to show the fourth slide, ma? Please copy down all these points. So in the fourth slide, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 points are there. And again in the fifth slide, 4 points are there. Please fast students, I have to start menstrual cycle. At least I have to give introduction today. So finish writing. All of you finished, ma? Fourth slide you want me to show? Wait. So this is fourth one. Please copy it fast, students. Yes. So, okay, students, now we can start your oogenesis process, spermatogenesis process completely over. Hope you have understood both these processes properly, right? And we saw the differences also between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis process. Now we are moving on to the next topic, that is menstrual cycle. Okay, because before going to fertilization process, we should discuss about menstrual cycle. Then only you will get to know like during which day of the menstrual cycle the ovulation will occur, when fertilization occurs, how everything, right? So now already we have studied about this menstrual cycle and estrous cycle in the first chapter. Do you remember? So this menstrual cycle is, anyways, I will just give you the things about only about menstrual cycle. So this menstrual cycle is present only in the females and not in the males, that we know very well. And females of which group of organisms? Females of eutherian mammals. So what do you mean by eutherian mammals? The mammals which give birth to young ones are not all eutherian mammals, because many animals are there that give birth to young ones. That is what we call it as viviparous. But all animals, they will, that is all the organisms, those who are laying young ones, no, they will not have this menstrual cycle. So under this eutherian mammals of order primates organisms, okay? So you have taxonomical classification, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, right? And under this, exactly the order, the organisms belonging to the order, that is called as primates. Those organisms which comes under order primates, those organisms are called as primata. So organisms that comes under order primates are monkeys, apes, and humans. These are the organisms that comes under the order primate. So only the organisms that comes under order primate. So this is very, very, very important. Okay. So menstrual cycle occurs in the females of eutherian mammals. of order primates like monkeys, apes, and human, right? Now, in non-primate animals, we know this menstrual cycle will not happen. In non-primate mammals, in non-primate means those animals which are not primates are called as non-primates. So non-primate mammals, instead of a menstrual cycle, they will have a cycle called as estrous cycle. They do not have menstrual cycle, they will have estrous cycle. Okay, so and you know about estrous cycle already, we discussed about this estrous cycle a lot during breeding season. This in estrous cycle, the level of I will tell you, in estrous cycle during the breeding season. Okay, during breeding season means when they are involved in reproduction. Anyways, suppose those who didn't attend the first chapter class, you please note down. In estrous cycle, no, in estrous cycle, during the breeding season, that is during the reproductive season, during breeding season, the level of estrogen rises in the blood. The level of estrogen. Estrogen, ma, either you can put O in front or else you can write ES. Anything is okay. Okay. So estrogen, the level of estrogen hormone rises in blood. It will increase in blood. Okay. And it, as a result, what it will do, it will cause a severe sex urge. If the estrogen level increases in the blood, then it will cause a sex urge. And this period, no, it is called as the heat period. The body temperature will increases a lot for those organisms following this estrous cycle during this breeding season. And this number of this during this heat period, they will have the sexual intercourse, and there will be no menstrual flow like we have for the organisms those who are following estrous cycle. Only in menstrual cycle there will be flow of blood. In estrous cycle there will be no blood flow. Okay, and the breeding season may vary from organism to organism. And finally, the suspension of estrous cycle. Suspension means, you know what is suspension. That is, in one stage the estrous cycle will be like lasting for some period of time, and that period, the last suspension of estrous cycle is called by the term. The suspension of estrous cycle is called as anestrum. The suspension of estrous cycle is called as anestrum. Okay, so these are regarding to the estrous cycle. Now we can go for the menstrual cycle, because when talking about menstrual cycle, you should know the information about estrous cycle also, right? So the endometrium, everything. See, in organisms following menstrual cycle, the endometrium wall will rupture, and so the blood will flow along with the unfertilized ova and other secretions present in the endometrium. But in estrous cycle, there will be rupturing of endometrium, but there will be no release of menstrual bleed, because once when they rupture, the blood that is coming out, no, everything will get reabsorbed into the body. Reabsorption process will take place, so there will be no menstrual bleed. And during this period, the body temperature will be high. That is what I told you, heat period. Okay, because of the level of estrogen increases in the blood, it causes severe sex urge, and that particular period is called as the heat period. Okay, so it is called as the heat period, ma. And suspension of estrous cycle. Suspension means the particular period of time when the estrous cycle will be lasting, no, and that period is called as anestrum. 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 This is A. Okay. Fine. Have you all completed this slide? And you can write this: no bleeding. No bleeding occurs in case of estrous cycle. Fine. Now we can go to the menstrual cycle. So starting with the menstrual cycle, I told you already menstrual cycle occurs in human female. Okay. So menstrual cycle in human female, it starts at a particular age, that is during the time of puberty. So menstrual cycle in females. in females of human. Because we are studying only about the human body and not other organism. So this menstrual cycle in females of human, it starts at the age of mostly average of 12 to 15, but sometimes it may occur in the age of 9, 10 also. It depends upon the individual organism. Okay, age of 12 to 15 years. And the first menstrual cycle when it starts, no, that is called as menarche. Okay, when it starts, no, it is menarche, and it will continues. And it continues for a particular period of her lifetime up to the age of approximately, this is also not constant. Okay, it may also differ from person to person. Approximately 45 years. So around 45 years. So after this, that is around 45, what will happen? I will tell you. Around 45 years of age, now the Graafian follicle, the maturation of Graafian follicle stops. Around the age of 45, maturation of Graafian follicle stops. Okay, and also there will be suppression of estrogen secretion, that is the menstrual cycle will discontinue. And due to suppression means reduction, and due to suppression of estrogen secretion, menstrual cycle discontinues. Okay, menstrual cycle will not continue after the age of 45 or around that age of 45, and this particular discontinuation of menstrual cycle and this phase is called as the menopause. Okay, so this is called as the menopause. So what is meant by menopause? Around 45 years of age, the maturation of Graafian follicle stops. Also, due to suppression of estrogen secretion, menstrual cycle discontinues. And this discontinuation of menstrual cycle is called as menopause. Okay, so this menstrual cycle is, in human, the menstrual cycle, no, it is called as a monthly cycle. So menstrual cycle is also called as a monthly cycle. Also called as monthly cycle. That is, in a normal, regular human being, it covers about 28 days. Not 30 days. For a normal human being, this menstrual cycle occurs every 28 days. Okay, so once in 28 days, so it is called as a 28-day cycle. Don't think as we are saying monthly cycle, it is not a 30 or 31. So it is said to be 28-day cycle. And this will not be again same for all human beings. Okay, why? Because it depends upon the individual hormonal level, genetic things, and so many. Even the lifestyle habits they are following, the food they are taking, exercise they are doing. So in all these cases, this 28 days may vary from person to person. But on an average, for a proper person, adult person, the average range of, that is the menstrual cycle, will occur once in 28 days. Okay, so please note down all these points, students. Now we are going to start the phases of the menstrual cycle. I'll tell you what are the 4 phases. I told you, 4 phases are there in the menstrual cycle. So we can discuss what are the 4 phases of menstrual cycle. All these are introduction. Okay. Ma, this week I cannot discuss the questions. I will tell you why. Because I told you, some problem happened in database software. So after your exams, we try to, after getting a problem from the students, we try to rearrange the questions. But what did happen? It got entirely collapsed. Okay. So if I open that particular question paper, questions are totally different. So all the questions has been finally deleted. Okay. So I cannot discuss the paper of this week Sunday exam. because like problem in the software. Got it? So this is the sixth slide. I will show you the sixth and seventh slide once. You just copy all the points in the sixth and seventh slide. Then we can move on to the phases. Yeah, phases are very easy. Okay. So menstrual cycle question is also a very see in your NEET exams from human reproduction chapter, always you will get one question from menstrual cycle, from the phases or something. Okay. And also in your board exam, sometimes this may ask in your 5-mark question. It is also an important 5-mark, or it separately it can be asked in 2 marks or 3 marks. So seventh slide. Progesterone secretion will be there after menopause, ma. Progesterone secretion will occur after menopause. Even estrogen secretion will be there, but in a mild level, not in a huge level. Okay, fine. Now we can see the complete cycle of this menstrual cycle process. So you please draw this diagram and then I will start explaining. You just draw a clock-like diagram. So I told you it is a 28 days menstrual cycle, right? So the half of this 28 is 14, right? Now we should start like 1 to 5, then 6 to 13, and 14th day some. Yeah, sorry students, from 15 to then 28. This 15 to 28 you put an arrow mark. Okay, fine. So this 1 to 5, this is the first phase, and 6 to 13, this is the second phase. 14th day is the third phase, and 15 to 28 is the fourth phase. These are the days. Okay, so this is the complete menstrual cycle. Fine. I will tell you what is the name of the phases, then I will explain one by one. The 1 to 5, the first phase, no, the first phase is called as the menstrual phase. It is called as the menstrual phase. And second phase, no, from 6th to 13th day, and that is called as the follicular phase. This follicular phase is having another name that I will tell you in detail. Then third phase, only the 14th day. Okay, only the 14th day. That is called as the ovulatory phase. And fourth phase, that is starting from 15th till 28th day, and that is called as the luteal phase. Right? You just write down all these 4 phases name. Now we can see one by one. Finished, students? Have you all finished drawing this diagram and this 4 phases? Okay. So now first we have to start with the menstrual phase. Okay. So that is the first phase, that is the from the day 1 to day 5. This is an average. See, whatever we are going to discuss, all are said to be an average, okay? Because exactly it will not be same. For some person, the menstrual cycle may stop within 3 days. For some person, it may extend up to 7 days or 8 days. And some person, it may be for 4 days or 5 days. So it differs from person to person, and we cannot say exactly what is the timing. So on the whole, like on an average, we are saying this menstrual phase is for the 5 days. Now we can start the first phase. The first phase, please note down, it is the menstrual phase. So this first phase, menstrual phase, no, this phase is called as the bleeding phase. Bleeding phase, also called as menses. Okay, it is called as bleeding phase, or you can call it as simply menses. And in a 28-day menstrual cycle, the menses takes place on cycle that is average of, it will occur for 3 to 5 days. Minimum 3 to maximum 5 days. Okay, so the menstrual phase will occur for minimum 3 to 5 days in the 28 days menstrual cycle. In the 28 days menstrual cycle, this menstrual phase will last, okay, for minimum of 3 days, maximum of 5 days, and sometimes it may vary to in the 28 days menstrual cycle. Okay, now the second one. So what happens during this menstrual phase? The production of LH, that is LH hormone, no, luteinizing hormone, you know, it will be secreted from the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. So this LH secretion is considerably reduced. LH secretion will be considerably reduced. See, I am incorporating the role of hormones also, ma. Again, so this you have to write the hormones also in this all these phases. The LH secretion, which is secreted in the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, it will be considerably reduced. And this, because of this withdrawal of this hormone, because of LH secretion reduced, there will be this, because of this reduction in the LH, because of reduction in LH, okay, this causes degeneration of corpus luteum. Degeneration of corpus luteum will be there. Okay, so I'll tell you what is this corpus luteum later. So this degeneration of corpus luteum, and corpus luteum is the one which will secrete the progesterone. So because of this, progesterone secretion will also get reduced. Progesterone secretion is also reduced. Okay, so first there will be reduction in LH. Because of reduction in LH, degeneration of corpus luteum causes, you can write, it causes degeneration of corpus luteum. And because of this degeneration of corpus luteum, progesterone secretion is also reduced. Once this production of estrogen is also reduced in this phase. Production or secretion of estrogen is also reduced. Estrogen hormone is also reduced during this menstrual phase. Okay. Now, because of all these things, finally, what will happen in your menstrual cycle? The endometrium layer, you know, 3 layers we studied in the uterus: perimetrium, myometrium, and endometrium. This endometrium is the innermost layer. So the endometrium of the uterus breaks down. It will start rupturing. Okay, endometrium of the uterus will break down, and finally, because of this rupturing of endometrium, the menstruation will begins. And what will happen in this menstruation? What are the things that will be present in the menstrual bleed or menstrual flow? What are the components of menstrual bleed? Okay, it consists of blood. Okay, and then it will consist of secretions of endometrium. In your endometrium, many glands will be there. And all those glands, when the endometrium wall rupture, all these secretions will also be released. from the glands, all secretions of endometrium, and then you will have the unfertilized ova. Because once one fertilization would have occurred, there will be no menstrual cycle. So there will be unfertilized ovum will be there in the menstrual cycle. Okay. So all these will be etc. Some mucus, you can write mucus, etc. will be present. These are the main things which are present in the menstrual bleed. Okay. So got it? What is menstrual phase? So menstrual phase, see, listen, I will show you the previous slide again. The menstrual phase is also called as the bleeding phase, first thing, and it is also called as menses. It will last for 3 to 5 days in the 28 days menstrual cycle. LH secretion will get down. Because of reduction in LH, it causes degeneration of corpus luteum. This corpus luteum is the one which will secrete progesterone. I will discuss about this corpus luteum later in detail. Okay. And then secretion of estrogen is also reduced. And progesterone is the one which maintains the endometrium wall. When this progesterone secretion is not there, automatically the endometrium wall will break down and menstruation will begin. And finally, the menstrual bleed will start. And this will consist of blood, secretions of endometrium, unfertilized ovum, mucus, everything. Okay. On an average, 50 to 75 ml of blood will be released during the menstrual bleed or menstrual phase. Okay, 50 to 75 ml of blood releases during this menstrual phase. During this phase. Sometimes it may be more than 75 ml too. Okay, got it, students? Fine. So I think time is over. I will show you all the slides from the beginning. You just have the copy of those slides. So this is, I think this is not needed. Okay, I will delete this slide. So this is the one which will come out. This is also not needed. This also you can delete. You just take the snapshots or pics from this slide, mature Graafian follicle. From this mature Graafian follicle, you just take note down. The first slide, second slide, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one. Hey students, okay, we'll discuss the remaining phases tomorrow and also the role of hormones. While explaining the role of hormones, I will explain using a graph. Okay, thank you so much. See you all. Bye-bye.